We're good to go?
We're good to go.
Okay. So, I apologize. Left my hard copy. Oh, yeah, well, welcome, appreciate everybody's patience last minute, you know. Certainly excited to really again, we'll go ahead and get kicked off. Have, any comments or questions on the previous month's minutes? Sort of.
We probably sold down all of us, but it's singular. Second version just with the few extra words in it. Good word spreading to other county schools, which is
Oh,
good.
yeah, that is good.
Tours and things.
Good.
I'm going to accept the minutes as.
Seconds. Second. Those in favor? Opposed? Let's have it. Move on to the airport manager reports.
Thank you, sir. We had another good month, September. Football season was in full swing in September. So we had a real good month. I guess the one that really stands out is the airport services. We have a variance of 36,000. We purchased two golf carts, 6-person golf carts, and that hit in our airport services. So those were desperately needed, especially prior to football season, because we do transport a lot of people back and forth through airplanes and various things. And we were down to probably one halfway good golf cart, which is going to be kind of not we're not going to put a lot of money into it, but it's going to be a little bit refurbed so we can continue to use it and let our maintenance grounds crew use it to go around and weed eat and things like that. So we're really happy to get those items in so that we could provide the best service we can to our customers. But all in all, with that said, you know, we were at 46,000 for the month. Our avgas sales and Jet A were good. And we're up to an actual of about 113,000, just under 113,000. We had avgas gallons at 6,100, and it's about the lowest we've had so far since July and August. And then Jet A at 38,000. We had a better month than August, but you can expect a real good month in October. I'll tell you that. I've seen the numbers on some of these sales. It's going to be good. And then operations, we had 2781, which, you know, for September is good. But October again, we've had some, you know, we really didn't have any good home games either, you know, in September. They're all hitting now pretty much.
We almost know one game. Well, I mean, we had Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, that was it, Tennessee Tech. Yeah, they wouldn't have
We had what was it, Mississippi State?
Yeah. Oh.
And all.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Probably better.
That was like,
Yeah.
So September, you know, we had some good ones. October will definitely be good.
next year though.
Next year, I had a talk with our operations supervisor, and I told him, you know, next year we definitely have to be ready as far as fuel, you know, operations, and and whatnot, but you know, the way UGA is looking, the way Tennessee's looking, and that could be a pretty decent game this year.
It should be.
Yeah, and so we're really talking with our fuel supplier, you know, about preparing for that. You know, having tanker trucks, on standby for Saturday and Sunday, and then one in the morning for Monday. And they've been really good, you know, as to, you know, our requests and fuel, you know, tanker loads and whatnot. There was one issue, I think, where they couldn't find a driver. Well, we thought, oh man, what do we do? But they always come through for us. They always find somebody, you know, to bring the tanker full.
So you've done that before, having, like, there's only.
Yeah, we have. We do it almost at every game. And you remember, well, last year was, it was last year, was it? I can't remember who it was. But we had to really do it there too. And then at one point in time, remember when we had that year, we had Texas A&M and then we had Notre Dame.
Tennessee a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so all those there, we have to really sit down and think about the strategy of fuel, you know, coming in and the inventory and whatnot. Tennessee game this year is gonna be the same way, but then next year's. Yeah. Oh, man, it's gonna be crazy next year, yeah. But, we do have two, let's see, we have two trucks now, two 3,000-gallon trucks. Titan loaned us another one for the, you know, the football season. We might do a 5,000-gallon truck, which would really ease things a little bit, but, yeah, we're talking about that right now, so I'll let you know how that all ends up. So far, it's been working out pretty good.
On the self-service, what do they, self-service?
We usually shut that down on game days though, but it's at pass. Yeah, because where the self-serve is, even no matter where it is on the airport, actually, there's so many moving parts and we really didn't want, you know, piston aircraft to kind of clog it up and then us trying to park airplanes and it would just be a big mess. So we decided just to close it down, yeah, on game day, pretty much the weekend. But other than that, we had somebody come in our office today and thank us for putting that in. They were very grateful. They use it a lot. Look forward to having them. Yeah, so we're pleased with the numbers still. Any questions on the finances? Moving on to our capital improvements, which have many, thank goodness. I'll start with the taxiway Alpha project. That is opened up and traffic is using it now. We have walked it, I think about a week and a half ago, we walked it with GDOT, contractors, our engineers, myself, and made a good punch list. And, so there's several small items and several larger items, you know, that they need to look at. Mostly in the drainage and some of the signage, some of the asphalt too, that they may have to come back and mill, and then repave, which they're not large sections, they're small sections, but you know, we want this thing to be done right when they leave. We did, during our Part 139 inspection back in July, the FAA said, listen, you know, when you get your temporary markings down, you know, give us a call, just a courtesy, give us a call, we'll be glad to come out, you know, and look at them and tell you if they're good. Well, we did, and they came out this morning. Two inspectors, one's our regular inspector, and then the other one is from the northwest area up in Washington State. But she's here temporarily, I think. But anyway, she was very knowledgeable about the markings. There are a few markings out there that are kind of iffy. They weren't quite sure if it was, you know, to standard or not. So they're going to take that back with them and let us know. But now's a good time because, you know, we have the temporary markings down and then they'll, after 30 days, which I think is like November 4th, maybe, 30 days will be up, they'll come back and they'll do the permanent. So the only thing I think they really saw were some of the red boxes, out there on Bravo that were kind of tilted, they were angled a little bit differently. And they were wondering if they should be shifted. Plus, I think from center line of the taxiway, they should be a maximum no more than 10 feet out, the edge of that red line, that red box, and I think it's more than 10. So anyway, they're gonna look at that. And then, if we have to, we'll just, get rid of those and bring them in like they're supposed to, and we'll just repaint them. They would. So it's a good time to have them come, because when they come back in July and say, this is wrong, at least they've seen it, they know it's right. And it's a good thing, because now is the time to change anything that needs to be changed. So, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those things where, are you really going to call the IRS to want to check your numbers, and give them courtesy to check them? Well, the FAA is great. I like the FAA, they're great folks. They really are here to help you. They really are. And these folks are good, and if they see something, they're going to let you know. But that's just a part of it. They won't write you up on something like this. It's just a courtesy. And so we do appreciate that. So, E.R. Snell's coming out, I think, this week and next week to work on the punch list. Hopefully we'll have that thing wrapped up within the 4 weeks, I hope. The runway 220 project, as you know, is complete. The only thing we're waiting on is finishing the fencing that was added to it as a line item. That was added. They're working on it. I think they'll probably be done probably in the next week or two. And then once that's done, we'll do a final walkthrough just on that fence line area, and then we can close that project out. The design, I think they're at 100% now for the design on Taxiway Bravo. We had a 90% completion meeting a couple weeks ago. There were some changes we thought we'd like to make on it, so I think they made them, but we have to review the 100% plans now. GDOT says they're hopeful that we will get funding first of the new year, and mostly it's going to be fallout money. We don't have anything dedicated right now to us, but if there's an airport that can't accept a project and can't accept their grant project, it will, hopefully come to us. We do have our funding in place for it, so we would be good to go and design to be ready. So that's a good thing. So we're hopeful that'll start in the first of the year. And then the design for the parking lot, that still being done. But we don't have any grant money for that yet, and haven't had any really good talks about when we might get money for that. It might be fallout money again, but it'll be later on, in the year. It won't be the first fallout money that comes out. It'll probably be, something toward the end. If there's any fallout money from that. And then the bill money that's been accumulating, for the last 4 years, that will come, actually GDOT wants us to accept, I think 3, maybe 4 years of that money toward our ARC truck. And so we have been talking to 10-8, who is the supplier of an ARC truck. We're thinking of an Oshkosh truck. And I think the total from what I've seen is like almost 1.4 million. And I think this money will be 1.2 million. So we still have to get some of the 50, or maybe it's the 4th. You have to look and see, to make up that difference. But what we're going to do, there's a lead time of like 25 to 30 months on this truck. And so once we get the grant, we're going to go ahead and send that money to Oshkosh and let them get going on it. And by giving them that much money, we should be able to get a good discount on it too. So, so we're excited to get that. I told the FA that this morning too, and they said, are you gonna keep the old one? I said, yeah, I mean, I wanna keep the old one. And they said, you know, they would advise keeping it because if something happened to one or the other, you know, you have a backup. And then each one carries 1,500 gallons of water in it. And, so having, you know, that amount of water would definitely be a plus, for us. We're not there's two types of, ARF trucks. There's the 1,500 gallon one, and then there's, I think, a 3,000 gallon. The 3,000 has 6 tires, big tires. And then like what we have here is 4 tires, 4x4. And we would love to get the 6, but we're not a big enough airport to get that 6. And the FAA, you have to meet so many restrictions and specs on your airport, and we don't meet those. So we do meet the 4, and so that's what we would get. And unfortunately, when you get the 4, that's the lead time of the 25 to 30 months. The 6 one is like 18 months. So you can get it pretty fast. And I think they've already got 2 of those built. So, you know, it's just unfortunate we couldn't go with that, but it is, you know, it'd be more maintenance and everything else that goes along with it. So, and GDOT, the thing that scared me was with that lead time, you know, usually a GDOT, this is FAA too, is, it's usually good for 2 years, the agreement grant contract, but they will extend it to 3 for us because of that. So that kind of made me breathe a little easier too.
Is that kind of the way it's always been in these trucks?
No. Yeah, because when I was talking to the FA this morning, I was telling her about the lead time, and she said, yeah. She said, it's been 18 months. And I said, it's not that anymore. I said, it's higher. And she said, oh, okay, well, yeah, it used to be 18, and now it's higher. We were talking about the 4s, you know. So, yeah, if we can get in there, because I don't want to go any higher than that. We definitely have to work with FA and GDOT on the timeline then. But anyway, so that's where we stand on the projects. I missed anything. Any questions? Marketing and outreach. Let Davin talk about that.
Yeah, so we, like, you know, reported before, we've got several tours that are coming up, so, on Monday, we've got the Firefly Homeschool community that is coming out, so we've got about 44 folks that are be coming out for that, so. And there are another 5 that are scheduled for later, November. And then we've also just signed up for the Ollie group to have an Ollie tour that'll be here in FY20, well, in calendar year 25. So probably April or May.
Thank you, Davin. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, what is the Firefly Homeschool Community? Where is that?
That's a great question. All I can tell you is the name, so.
Yeah, well, Firefly Trail is this way.
Right.
Yeah, first time I've heard of it. That's interesting.
Yeah, we've got several homeschool groups that are coming, so.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. But I'll find out more when I give them the tour on Monday.
So far, you haven't heard interest from any schools in outlying counties yet? Is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
We do have, Winterville Elementary is lined up, for a tour, but I haven't heard from Oglethorpe or Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, we could reach out.
Did. What we added to the next school.
Well, they're not outside. I mean, these homeschool groups could be from outside the county.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure. So,
It overlap, yeah.
yeah.
So, but what we put in the minutes was about, you know, other schools outside the county district.
Right, yeah.
So where were they actually, just out of interest?
Well, like I said, they're homeschool.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's what they are.
All right.
So, yeah.
One thing I didn't forget to mention was the tower. I did have a meeting and Mac was in that meeting too, with some of the tower folks. This is a new group that's actually gonna be looking at the surveying of the property and then also, some of the, I guess, wiring and whatnot we have out there that needs to kind of connect to the tower. Is that correct?
Yeah, a lot of the infrastructure stuff they want to check, especially from the nav aids and the comms and everything, and just see what's there and what they need to do to get it from the tower site.
Yeah.
It was mostly folks with Parsons Engineering, which is the contractor that has a big contract with the FAA, but that's engineering services. So that's, there's only one FAA person on there, he's been with the FAA for 7 months.
Yeah, that was him. Okay, yeah, yeah. Sometimes I get confused on those because they have FA next to their name.
Well, if you see the CTR.
Yeah.
That's for contractor.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the FAA contract.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
There are a ton of them. There's a bunch of them. And, yeah, so I also got a memo of understanding from, I guess, the real estate section of the FAA that needs to, I want to send that to our attorney so they can look at that.
Are we gonna lease the land to them? Is that how it is?
Well, we haven't been, but I'm gonna see what we can do. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you the truth. We don't pay a thing for this. I know a lot of airports do. They'll pay for, they have to pay for the electric, they have to pay for this, they have to pay for that, they pay for the even personnel sometimes. I told somebody, a while back, we don't pay for anything. And I said, how'd you get away with that? That's unusual. And so I don't know, I don't wanna push things, If we don't have to pay anything, I don't wanna ask for money from them. So I might just leave it alone.
Probably good strategy.
And you guys are part of the official FAA contract tower program, which is part of the reason you got some of these benefits, and some of these other ones that you're probably talking to
Uh-huh.
are not.
Okay,
And so that's why they have to cover all those costs.
gotcha, okay.
It's a sweet deal, don't mess with it.
Okay. That's good to know then. That's all I ask.
Great, thank you. I'm to old business.
No, we didn't meet again this time, it's a slow time of year for that advisory group, the staff are working behind the scenes. But they're doing the decision points for the advisory group right now. So,
Okay, I haven't heard one word about the T's for us.
another thing, so we dive down.
What would trigger movement with it? Is it where
Well,
SPOS has to?
Yeah, because the mayor and commission have already voted to go ahead, they're gonna fund those projects, so there's, then the next thing is they have to actually get on with, construction and so on. So it'll be the next round. So, we see what pace,
Okay. Standing committee updates. As far as business and finance.
Yeah, we had a couple of things. A quick one would be the fact sheet, which we reviewed in the last meeting. Davin's been working on that. I think Davin may not want to say this, but he's been having to do it pretty much himself because the intern hasn't really been able to work on it. So you actually we talked about this and you got updates from our last meeting, a couple of items about some numbers. And I think you went ahead and you want to just give your latest update. You went ahead and sent it to the your person in Rome.
That's right, yep, to the graphic designer that's there. And so, ask her to go ahead and draft something. And we'll come back with that once it's done. She works pretty quickly, so
Yeah.
definitely by the next meeting, we'll have something. So,
And she knows what we're looking for as far as new ideas with the format, so that it's more of a online. We'll have this for online version, but also something printed out. I think David had mentioned the idea of way back about a tri-fold type of thing and stuff like that. So she seems to be really good with the ideas. We kind of put it in her hands right now, to come up with some things, and then we'll definitely be re-reviewing it, including data as well as, information and the look and feel of it. So Davin, what would you say, any frame for her to get something to us?
Yeah, I think she'll have something before the next meeting, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice to have.
Any questions on that fact sheet? The other is this is our quarterly, strategic plan review time. And yeah, Devin's already got it up. Devin, Mike and I just went through briefly, the other day, as we usually do about a week before this meeting, just to kind of, do some reviews. And, just as a review of the purpose of this, it's, again, a couple of you guys may not, and we're here when we first started doing this, 2 or 3 years ago, the strategic plan, to the degree that we were, it just is meant to help us as, the leadership group here be in sync with what are the priorities that the airport needs to have. And, then it's synced up with the city, where every few years, I guess the next one is in about 2 more years until this one, gets done, and we'll be asked to do a whole new plan. They give us things to roll down as far as goals, and then we have things, also that we need. And, so that, as we go through this, as it progresses and gets a little bit older from the original version for this round, we may remove things that are kind of obsolete or they get completed. We can, add things if there's things that you all feel there's something important that needs to be happening for the sake of the airport. We can discuss that and potentially add it. Otherwise, this review is where we're going through statuses, but feel free to bring up, anything, is questions, or if there's suggestions that we may want to discuss at some meeting and potentially, bring into the fold of the strategic plan. So, anyway, just a review here, goal 1. And we have each goal, we've got, I think, 5 general goal areas, and then strategies within those, and then initiatives within the strategy. So goal 1 is to enhance the airport infrastructure. It's basically about regarding capital improvements. And strategy 1.1 is repaving and improved runway 220 and the taxiways and terminal aprons. Mike, anything else you want to add versus what you've already kind of given updates on?
No.
Anybody, any other questions on that one? 1.1 there. Let's see, and then we've got the completion dates, which Mike and Devin and I go through those target dates. So if you have any questions about those, feel free to ask. Also, strategy 1.2 is clear obstructions, install airport fencing. 1.2.1 is already completed. And then we've got 1.2.2 fencing, still hoping for February 25, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just, in that one, you were just completed, whereas elsewhere you've got the date completed in 2023 or whatever. I mean,
And the, Devin, you could do after this, maybe just update this, and do some other things.
yeah, just to be consistent.
Then, let's see, strategy 1.3, increasing parking capacity, new parking, lot. Mike was just talking about that.
Yeah.
Design, I think the other day you felt design, based on what you were saying a few minutes ago, design by, this year, calendar year.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be safe.
1.4 is construct a transit corporate hangar. One step is to, 1.4.1 is to design the hangar. We're going to try to complete that also this year, right? Okay, and as we talked about before, we exclude the tower as a project under this because it's not under full control of the airport.
Yeah, that's true.
Goal 2, any questions so far? Goal 2, establish scheduled, this is about getting commercial air service as well as cargo service for the airport. Strategy 2.1, I think we talked about this one pretty in depth last time. And, Greg had some input, or Diane, about kind of combining some things here. So this one, recruit and establish, scheduled air service and at least 10,000 annual passenger enplanements by December of 25. That was December of this year, but now I think Mike, we're
Yeah.
other day, you give me comments on that in general, or that.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna take that. Take that one.
And then, so the initiative 2-in-1, recruit an airline for the airport, or, could be Athens to Charlotte or other options.
Yeah, it's, as far as the airline goes, it's just a crazy time. And, right now, I think they're trying to concentrate on some of the routes that they have had. And they are opening up some new routes too. But when you're using an RJ, a regional jet, it's a little bit difficult because I think a lot of them are working on them, trying to put them back in service. They're shuffling them around. At one time, American had a lot of RJs, and now it seems United has a lot more, and American isn't gonna use them quite as much as like they said at first. So it's with all that going on, I think they're still trying to figure out their strategy.
So, right, 6 months ago, we had a lot of meetings and
Yeah.
discussions going on, 6 or 8 months ago. Now we're more in a kind of hold, we've got to wait.
It is, and I think I mentioned, they had the pilot shortage, now it's really a captain shortage more than anything. But it'll all come around, but it's just gonna take some time, unfortunately.
So just moving on to strategy 2.2, provide enhanced charter.
So just before that 2-1-2 initiative,
Right.
the date 2024 is hanging there. Was that completed or what, that occurred in 2024?
The topic there was research alternatives
Yeah.
and all. Mike, does that push out 25? Be more in sync with the first one?
Yep, I would say so.
Yeah.
Ready to answer, or? That answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, next one, is provide enhanced charter services, increasing enplanements, 50%, with some volume targets there. That first one, that overall strategy as far as the enplanements has been, achieved. But, initiative 2.2.1, as far as increase enplanements to 6,000 is the next target goal for next year, right, Mike?
Correct, that's correct.
When we say 2025, the year, time in here, we're talking calendar years.
Yeah.
Next one, 2.2.2, pursue cargo handling options. Mike, when we were talking the other day, you kind of had some few thoughts about cargo and also where small cargo could be kind of a thing to focus there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get RSNH to look at, an area on the airport for cargo. And again, it doesn't have to be large cargo, there's all sorts of aircraft being used right now for cargo. Even some of the VTOLs as well, that they're thinking about using. And I know that, in the future, I don't know if it's near future, but somewhere in the future, they're gonna identify, we heard this at our conference last week, they're gonna identify roughly 9 airports as a test site, for VTOLs and,
Small package.
Yeah. Yeah. And
9
so,
airports in what area?
Georgia.
Oh, just Georgia.
so we're keeping our ear out for that, and it'd be nice if we had something. And then, we would definitely, there would be charging stations involved, of course, and that kind of thing. So those haven't been identified yet, but it'd be nice if Athens was one.
Yeah. Let me ask you this about cargo. So with cargo handling, that you were gonna back it up a minute, you were gonna work with RS&H at some point. What do you think? Because maybe our goal there needs to be that as the next step, get into.
Probably so. Yeah, and the thing with them is, they're working on design for Bravo and design for parking, and they only have so many people, so, uh, yeah, probably somewhere in 25, we could have them start working on them.
Okay. All right, goal 3, expand the general aviation experience, to better serve customers, increase revenue. I'm sure that was future. Strategy 3.1 is identify and enhance facilities, product services, retain, increase our customer base, increase annual operations to 50,000. Let's see, the first one here, initiative 3.1 is about self-service fuel. That's finally totally complete now in service. 3.12 is prepare and issue an RFI for destination restroom. That's pending commercial service. Anything else that should fall under that, 3.1, Mike, or what? Let's see, 3.2, assess, study space at the airport. I think there, Mike, we've got like design and build hangars to meet the demands. Develop plans for that east hangar area, talked about, including potential of T hangars and other uses. And the other day, we were talking, I think we needed to push those about a year out.
Yeah. And I think the other day I talked about us going,
Design.
yeah, that we were going to a conference, and GDOT was throwing around the idea of putting out low interest rate loans, to the airports, for these hangars. And they did talk about that some. And then there were some good questions, that were brought about, during that time. But I guess the problem is this, that right now building hangars is so expensive. Everything's so expensive. And so, once you get done building it, it's going to be where you're going to have to rent, one unit out of a 10 unit T hanger unit, I don't know, $600 a month. Nobody really wants to pay for that, it's just a regular T hanger. So I don't know, that's just, then we talked about, well, what we really need is some grant money to help us build these things and not just a loan, that we have to pay back interest too. But grant money to help us. And so that was talked about, but nothing really, nothing really beyond that, just talk. But we're still trying to, we have to build it as cheaply as we can. We want the quality, but it's kind of tough to have somebody on a waiting list say, yeah, we got one for you, but it's $600, $700 a month, and they don't, they don't go for that.
Yeah. Any questions on that, goal 3 area?
One we had talked about EV chargers.
Uh-huh. For cars or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so cars, yes, yeah, there's, oh gosh, Mike Horton, with Athens. He's contacted us. I think he's trying to get a grant for us and some of the other departments who were in that mix. I have to contact him, see what we're on.
Cause it seems like that'd be a great opportunity for like a crew car.
Yeah.
Get a couple of used Nissan Leafs, would be perfect crew cars, cause they can't go far.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And must be use those on game days too.
Yeah, you have a kid. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Yeah, but, next meeting, I'll have something on that. I'll call him up and find him. I'll tell you what, I'll just call him up and I'll, you guys will let you know. You don't have to wait till the next meeting. Yeah. Okay.
There's all kinds of that. Non-tax payments.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That'd be great. I'll look into them.
But maybe it makes me, sounds like this may be a potential, added initiative for this, to build.
Yeah,
add in,
yeah.
You want to do a little bit of checking and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's been a while since I talked to them.
So goal 4 is inform and connect the community, businesses, customers to provide greater understanding of the airport's role in the community and build goodwill. Trying to make sure with this goal or initially that we're having the full support we need from our government allies and commission and so forth. And, Athens community was aware of all the values of the airport and to the community. So anyway, strategy 4.1 was implement strategies for marketing, community outreach and engagement. 4.1.1 is publish an annual report. At the ACC deadline each year. This year, we are shooting to complete the FY 2024 report by May of 2025. The next annual report, we try to have it by then at least. 4.1.2, develop a content management plan for quarterly newsletter, social media. That's an ongoing one. Mike, you want to touch base, anything, since that's ongoing, what's going on with that?
Let's see, do we have anything comes to mind?
Just, as we have things to put on social media, we put them on there. So
Yeah.
fortunately, our, part-time staff is younger and they help prompt some of that as well. So Ian King gave a great, picture when Delta was in here.
Yeah, that's a
So
nice
posted
picture.
that.
I like
Good,
that.
I've seen it. 4.1.3, pursue local partnerships with economic development agencies, business leaders, and community groups. Thing there in particular has been going on.
There, I guess you remember that, communication we got from Marvin Nunnally at Athens-Clarke
Mhm.
about apprenticeship opportunity.
Oh, yes.
But it's not the sort of thing, he sent me a note and I forwarded it to mine, that they're having a workshop next month.
Yeah,
Um,
it's mostly for our employees.
Yeah, presenting, possibilities for apprenticeships.
Yeah.
So they're putting out feelers to people, and I sent it to mine because some of the employees might be interested in that, but it's not the sort of thing we put in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sort of informal update,
okay.
yeah.
4.1.4, promote the airport's community engagement. These are all, ongoing. So, includes hosting airport, aviation events, establishing a program of non-aviation public events to be held at the airport, establishing multi-use trail around the airport, and pursuing aviation training, educational partnerships with local education entities. That last one, of course, had a ton of success there with the schools coming in. Anything else, Matt and Mike?
Well, I just would add this, it's been a while since we talked about doing things here, but it was mostly because Taxiway Alpha was just so, it was just in a disarray. So I would, I just didn't feel it was safe to have an event here, with that. But now, we're wrapping things up. So, hopefully after winter time, we can start, getting some folks in, having a fly in or whatever. I know I talked to a guy in Rome who has Tiger Flight, and he told me, he said, listen, Mike, if you ever want us to come there on a Saturday, we'll fly kids around, in our air coops, and that's what they do, they're Delta pilots and various pilots, and they're a part of Tiger Flight, and they bring aviation, to the youth and let them experience, a flight. So I told them, I said, yeah, come springtime, I'd like to get them in here and we'll advertise it and, maybe add a few things like some food trucks or whatnot, but at least, kick something off. It's on a smaller scale, of course, but at least it's something,
I had a note, I think, from the last meeting, I think, Diane, you and Mike, y'all were gonna connect,
Yeah,
thoughts or ideas just to see,
yeah.
what else.
Well, I think, you said that previously, and it was really, looking to next year, spring would be the optimal time, but you have to get this other construction and everything.
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So I don't think, again, keep it, there's anything you need to change in the wording.
Yeah.
Really cool time to be done.
See, any other questions, input on that one, number 4? Goal 5, achieve and maintain financial self-sufficiency. This is just a standard ongoing goal. And that is the overall strategy plan specifically there is maintain a revenue neutral status. ACC, that Mikey outperformed that because it contributed more than way over. Because of the, based on the financial report we just reviewed a while ago. And I mean, so far, so just as a quick check, so far this year, based on the financial report, you're in the plus about $46,000 for the first quarter for that. So as that measure, doing well. Good. I think, we had some things in there about studying the rates and fees of similar airports to understand the value of airport resources, also monitoring fuel prices and, as well as monitoring expenses to operate efficiently, which we're always doing that. Like anything in those first couple of there.
No, we still continue to monitor them, especially on our fuel. We are starting to question some of our fees and not all of them, just maybe one or two, on a game day. So we're gonna call other airports like, Tuscaloosa and some other, colleges and airports and see what they do. I won't get into that, but it is.
Austin's airport.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I can speak to that. I was there last week.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the Georgia game that was driving fees there.
Oh, yeah.
F1.
Ah.
So
Yes.
then they ramp up the fees for events like that?
Millionaire charge. $3,000 special event fee. Yeah, and these are just single and distant prices, so I don't know what they might not be on there.
It's almost
Signature.
fly commercial with that.
Signature. There was, let's say it was a $500 non-refundable event fee. Atlantic was the most reasonable at 120, but if you came in outside of a 10-minute window, then it was a $350 change fee on top of that.
Oh my goodness.
You could be on the taxiway for 10 minutes.
So that was a
Yeah.
reservation?
That was just PPR.
Oh, really? Oh,
That
wow.
was just PPR. And then on top of that, ramp, handling, security, infrastructure, overnight.
That's crazy.
Went into Lockhart instead, got barbecue parked on their municipal ramp.
Yeah,
I had down my canoe myself.
yeah.
And a $35.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
No,
that.
no other fees.
You're just telling them not to come. But
Well, right, yeah.
But in Texas, it's.
I mean, also,
Yeah,
Bird
sure,
Strip's
sure.
a real, that's a big real airport. And
Yeah,
they have limited space, although, I went into Hartsfield and they said, all right, see you next time. And been done with,
Yeah.
so. Austin Exec was basically the way she put it on the phone was $500 each time you walk through the FBO.
I'll keep walking.
Always performance and skills and so forth, and, kind of what you were talking about. with-
Apprenticeships thing.
Right, it kind of ties to that, Mike.
If you fixed up something with your staff,
Yep.
any of them, you could argue, well, yeah,
Mhm.
good design.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
Like anything you want to add regarding, so there, your guidance to meet that is continue to follow and meet FAA requirements in addition to other developmental training.
Yeah, Davin and Russ went to the Georgia Airport Association conference in Columbus this past week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and we learned a lot about, the changes in FAA and GDOT, funding, and, there were a lot of good speakers there too. And, the different purchasing, opportunities and things like that. So, it was a good conference. You know, sometimes you go and get back, it's like, but this was a good, and that's a good speaker.
Looks like there was several issues.
Which ones, sir?
Under 6.1, it says
Yeah.
5.1.1 and 5.1.2.
Sure does. Easy one for Devin, but. All right, anybody have any other questions, input? Concerns, anything? All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you for staying on us.
Yeah.
He's the loyalist.
it.
Their service, development, marketing.
I have nothing.
Other business. Presentation, and zoning request for the street.
So there's two gentlemen.
Set. Your project? Okay.
Yeah, you like to figure it out review.
Yeah.
I'm Brett Hay with Studio B&A Architects, and this is Frank Pittman, career civil engineer. And we are looking at this small parcel to redevelop. It's currently active. Familiar with the site of 1280 on these, right at the loop, the connector, is a parking right there, and a Waffle House, the Chevron gas station, it's kind of a dead site, formerly a restaurant and sitting there. And
You're a chicken restaurant? It was a Mexican.
There's a Mexican restaurant, used to be a pharmacy there.
Okay.
On the left.
Yes, ma'am, and it's kind of a field
Yeah.
side.
Hang your hands.
Yes, change hands bunch over the last 5 years.
pink right now.
Still there.
Building is still there. I
Okay.
think it's.
I drove by that chicken place that was on the other side.
Oh, that.
No, you're
So
further.
are you demolishing?
So this is almost right at, almost outside of the off side.
That's gonna be.
So you're demolishing the
Yeah,
building?
we're working on capital region. Yes,
Yeah.
we're going to demolish the building and really the site, it's just old asphalt, front loaded parking. And we're looking to update that, quite a bit. Did you guys get imagery for this?
I did not.
I can pass this around and just go from memory to, I don't know if you want to share that around. Didn't realize that planning wasn't sending anything to you. Up front on the site, on Tony Street, we're currently looking, we're that little pink restaurant, it's set back 40 feet or so, maybe 50 feet. We're gonna move new retail structure, still single story, but, nice, 12-foot glass, 14-foot ceilings. The buildings are maybe 16 feet there, so, but some nice commercial retail setup where it could be a small restaurant, cafe, or it could be an office. If you're at a Tony Street looking into the site, there are two retail buildings. One's about 3,000 square feet on your left, on your right is 4,000 square feet. And a drive up the middle, so it's kind of center loaded parking to get that parking off the street and move commercial up front. 3,000 square foot building and 4,000 square foot building. Behind that, small scale, 2-story, kind of townhome style, but they're little duplex residential buildings. There's only 13 of them. There's all 3-bedroom duplexes with 1 4-bedroom, trying to fill in some of that missing middle gap for workforce housing scale where you can actually put a family in a house. Pretty straightforward. We've got a really nice landscaping package. Everything's short, so the site is level, and then it ramps up about 15 or 16 feet up to Ann Street and back. And then you've got some trailer houses back there, but there's a 2-story condominium or I think they're condos, apartments up a little higher. But basically, we're between the gas station and undeveloped land. That's all trees, mid part of the road. And the idea is to put about, I think it's 39 beds or 40 beds in 13 units behind active retail. We're just trying to reactivate it. This is a little part of town that needs some attention. And, we're kind of hopeful in the report we wrote, sometimes we write aspirational things, and this isn't aspiration, but it's kind of that field of dreams thing. If you build it, it will come, like maybe we can spark a little bit of the, whoever does the next development, do something of a nice quality. And that's what hopefully you see when you look at these images. We kept everything low, of course, because of where it's located. I
So
think
what's the size of the property in total? The acre?
acreage, I have it right here. 2.0, let's see, yeah, total site is 2.02 acres.
So, the total of that.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay.
Yes, the last pages are site plan, the last two or three pages, you can see the site plan.
So Mike, is this in the overlay zone? Yes, it
Yeah, that
is.
one would be.
It is, it's in the kind of the outer limits of it, which is why you guys have to look at it, but it's, as Brett mentioned, we're significantly lower than all the existing residential in the area. Putting all our stormwater underground, so we're doing open water, so I know you guys.
Yeah,
And we tried to do a bunch of individual buildings instead of one larger building. If something ever did happen, we kind of separated.
What the ground elevation is, there are no slopes versus our, airport runway.
70, 80 feet below.
At least.
So I'm confused. We haven't got any information on this.
no, this was just, and this is just preliminary.
Preliminary.
This is just,
Project.
Yeah, an introduction to it, yeah.
Like the one last time.
Yeah, we'll get a plan. I'll get that from planning and we have a committee, you know, that three of these folks here in the room and they'll sit down in their committee and then bring it back to the authority at the next meeting. I don't know how to do it, but, you know, David's our chair of that one, that subcommittee, but, we basically planning, and I know it's in the ordinance too, you know, no lights that shine up and then nothing shiny like a rooftop or a, you know, metal shiny buildings.
With the residential, you know, big things. It's carried through the buying a property a mile. It's not like airplanes ever have. It is, you know, a mile due west. So, if anybody taking off from here is gonna be flying over, you know, be a mile out. Feet overhead, same way, you know, turning it. So, you know, we want to avoid, obviously, that would be potentially a nuisance to a home buyer. So nuisance to the airport. Property that's nearby. Reflectivity of, you know, roofing materials, all of this is spelled out. As far as the site itself, that would be Muse right behind, you know, you've got population density right.
You mentioned there's a grove.
Just to the west.
Yeah.
Any valuable trees that need to be considered for saving, et cetera? I mean, so what's the consideration?
On this property there.
There's not much, most of this property is field today. There are some trees in the back that is scrubby, really scrubby stuff that nothing to be kind of age.
Trees I was mentioning there, the adjacent
The adjacent property, there's some old stuff.
5 or 6 acres of just trees.
So that's not what you're looking. We wondered why that Mexican restaurant and all its other tenants, they just never made it. You know, we're sort of probably the patron or something.
Tough spot and kind of tired little building, you know, so it's hard to do a lot if you can't spend a little bit.
Yeah.
The address, does it come through to Ann Street then, or?
It fronts on Ann Street, but you can't, the elevation is such that you couldn't connect to it.
Okay.
Cause at the back of this property, like Brett mentioned, it shoots up a hill that's probably close to 20 feet.
Okay.
Ann Street's is way up above us. Yeah, you can't.
I can't tell from that. For that. Yeah.
Ann Street's provided our rooftop.
It was a different.
elevation.
Okay. Yeah, it
Was
was,
that the one that's,
It's off Dane Street Road.
yeah,
We just have a preliminary hearing on stuff.
Are you going through the PD process with this?
So you're not looking for any variances or exceptions or anything?
Not with the airport authority, we have one, I guess we have two variances with the PD process. One where, well, there's a conserved tree canopy because it's scrubby.
Because there's no trees there. There are not enough existing trees to meet the conserved tree requirements. So we're having technically asked for a variance from something that we didn't even create, so.
And then we're planting trees. The only other thing we're doing is we're moving currently it's an RM zoning, backing Ann Street path is RM zoning, and Coney Street is CG zoning. And we're literally just moving that line forward, creating CG only at the two commercial pieces and the rest of the. We're just moving on.
Yeah, so not putting the RM up on the street, which was the other waiver. The code technically says that half of your residential buildings have to front a street. We can't physically make that work because it just doesn't front a street, so we haven't asked for waiver. But otherwise, everything is per code.
Under the height.
So who are you looking at? Does the market? I'm just curious, interested.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be somewhat similar. We developed, we designed Mathis Apartments, the redo a few years back. And that one and the Mill District across from the Tracy Street warehouses, and both of those close enough to campus where you could get students and grad students, but they're also separated enough from the chaos, I guess, of campus that you get normal people. For example, well, like, there's such a
No students, normal people.
yeah, that's what I mean.
well, just for adults that.
Like, we have.
We're not normal people.
There's 14 people in our studio, and one of our employees lives at Mathis and two live at the Tracy Street Lofts. And so Mathis is kind of matches the demographic of the students and residents. It's about 30% students and the rest is grad students and workforce. And Tracy Mill District is close to that. It's percent the students are, so I think we would get that mix, because students are starting to move out, but we're hoping to set this up. These are a little, say, normal people, but a little more grown up looking, with the design, and we're hoping, and our clients, their clients local, hoping to attract anyone here.
It pays the rent, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, but then also, it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of pretty far from campus, frankly, and so it's a different person to do that direction.
So are you thinking there'll be mostly rental units?
There will be rentals, and the commercial will be as well. And wants to keep it as it is.
Seems like a better use of that
it continues through, February 4th.
Yeah, I think the final vote would be first February.
Kind of missed
Mayor.
that December month.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, assuming everything carries through, then we had loose conversations of when construction may start on this, and it was mentioned to start it. The rental cycle, which
Yeah.
yes, so I can ask Stephen, planning, they need to email.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll talk to him too. I think he sent it to me, I don't think he did, but I'll go back to and make sure, cause it was more like, we just put you on the agenda. Just, for you to introduce him, but, yeah, that sounds good, I'll be looking for it and then I'll pass it on to everybody here.
Red flag. Miniature.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you want this thing?
You can take
Okay.
it. I didn't realize you had it, so I
Appreciate that.
apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks. Yeah. Come back anytime.
I don't think everybody's described our meetings. All of us is normal.
Thanks, Sam.
All right.
So
You brought up a good point
what?
about Gaines schools. Were we supposed to?
Well, I mean, what happened to that? You were gonna
I don't-
touch base with Jeff about the presentation of the project we saw last time.
Right, but they were still in the preliminary phase.
Okay, still preliminary.
That's
They,
right.
yeah,
So they got time, they got lots of
they
time,
have,
right?
they have,
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
they're,
Then
we
they
don't have to
set
make
up
any,
Proper stuff.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they don't, until they bring the official thing to it.
Yeah, man, it's, so much has gone by and I hadn't even thought about it. Yeah, okay.
Apologies for not
No,
bringing you up to speed on that. There was-
no
I
worries.
think that the last meeting was just like this.
It was just like this, yeah, it was a little more in depth,
Yeah.
but,
We're supposed to.
and there was just last meeting was a much larger, development.
Yeah.
Just south,
And
yeah,
they said they got time, didn't they?
it's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
okay. That's good, that's good, yeah.
Back to us at some point.
Yeah, you scare me. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe we're supposed to vote on something. I don't know.
No, I just remember that, you said you were going to touch base with Chair, because we talked about it wasn't here. But it was preliminary.
Yeah,
It's like one of the bigger developments though, I think.
next to the elementary school.
Yeah.
It's on that old, it's an old block where there actually used to be ghost raising. and-
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty much a vacant lot right now.
displacing the goats.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, really, fronting on Game School Road, they're gonna put in, this big.
Yes, like,
A lot of
development.
townhomes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
lots-
small
lots of
suite.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Are they rezoning that?
Mm,
They need a variance for the.
Yeah, it's a variance.
Yeah, they're getting kinds of waivers.
I think when they go through the PD process, that encapsulates all of the waiver variance
Yeah.
issue.
This is getting screwy here.
Yeah.
Just,
And there used to be goats.
we're approving this as a
You see
whole.
in the meadow.
Yeah,
you actually need to-
They met
But
with.
these are all like single
everybody.
family homes. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is Cedar Creek here, so they came into this big slick presentation. They're lucky they didn't come back, because I thought of some things I wanted to throw at them. They talked about affordable housing, then they talked about a price tag of $350,000 to $480,000 per unit. They're saying, well, what's affordable housing?
That's what started homes are.
That's affordable houses these
Yeah.
days.
Affordable for who?
Well,
Because
yeah.
it's become, that's become a bit of a buzzword. That,
Yeah.
oh, you must approve this because it's affordable housing, but when you talk about real affordable housing in need,
Yeah.
you're talking about impoverished people.
Well, there's
Some people
there's
are price break.
there's a definition for
Yeah,
affordable housing when it comes to the rental market in terms of like
yeah,
ratio to like the median income, poverty level.
Yeah.
So, I forget, somebody brought that up one of the times. Yeah, I think that one was illegal. That one that, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
it's become a buzzword that, because it's targeting, needy people.
Yeah.
For the slick, brand new first home.
But I mean, nowadays though, just the materials.
Cost of construction.
Cost of construction is, I mean, where you used to be able to build for 100,000 is now 200,000, so now your margins are.
Yeah. It's definitely.
But they're not targeting people.
Well, they mislabeled it, it's not definitely affordable, but it's entry level. First time home buyer, not affordable.
That's what they should have called it.
Yeah. But theoretically though, you create more of those, then it frees up some of the other,
Yeah.
people buy rental properties.
Affordable housing, affordable, so it's a question of who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's such a demand for rentals here that people snatch them. If there's no other business, then I guess our next meeting will be 26th of November.
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Normally,
Did we not have it in November? What did, no, we don't
Yeah,
have?
what we've normally done is have one between November.
Oh, that's what we did, yeah,
So
yeah.
we set it like early December, something like
We
that.
did that last time.
We can do
that. Do the-
That one, like, for second week in December,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So we want to go ahead and schedule for that week.
Next week,
Like, first or second week of December?
Third or the 10th.
Yeah,
Either one.
okay.
I'm good. Yeah.
Either one works for me.
You wanna do the third? That way we'll have one more
Yeah.
time around Christmas.
Yeah,
People wanna take off and stuff. Are you good with that? The third? Never say no, sure.
I'm actually gonna be out of town. It's not the end of the world.
You are.
Yeah,
You'll be here the third.
it's, it's possible,
You might take it on.
no, it's possible, election day,
Oh, is there one off too?
if there's a wrong.
Maybe we should.
But I don't think I should
I
have.
don't think that'll affect any of us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just told he's accused of taking people from people's work. She gotta go in the third election.
It's gonna be,
On the third,
Let's do the third.
okay,
yeah.
If you get rid of them.
that works for me.
Okay.
Okay, so next week will be the third. There's no additional business, so I have a people's turn. Second. All right. Opposed? All right, I didn't see the opposed, so.
You want that, David, or you want me to hang him to it?
That is all yours.
Okay. I'll send you something.
It will make its way into the floor of my car and. What is Where did I go?
So might as well do something with that lot. It's all.
It's a really-
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's slowly coming together.
Yeah, yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's there. I had a bet whether that entrance ramp was gonna get finished before the one that started over on Athens or Highway.
Yeah.
They were burning over there.